Hi, thanks for calling Microsoft. Hi, thanks for calling Microsoft. Hi, thanks for calling Microsoft. Hi, thanks for calling Microsoft.
Welcome to Aetna.
Thanks for calling Microsoft. Hi, thanks. Hi, thanks for calling.
We're sorry, you have dialed a number which cannot be reached from your calling area. Thank you.
Just for the record, Google Live Captions isn't showing up, but that was colonial area, not calling area. Which, it sounds like U.S. Atlantic. Notation, not Crown Standard, so I don't fucking know why it said Colonial. And now it's just not going to work.
We're sorry, you have dialed a number which cannot be reached from your calling area. Thank you.
I hear calling area, but at the same time, I'm leaning on trusting the AI live transcripts because I have enough processing power on my computer to definitely transliterate English into the language pack I have installed with Microsoft, my desktop offline, which I just ported into Chrome because I didn't realize I had that off under the accessibility. It's the same one that they released around Halo Infinite's testing. The one that you could, you used to be able to use the female voice in pretty much any accessible video game for Cortana, and the same thing for John 117 for like the male setting. So since that works for everything, I don't believe it's incorrect here. I'm assuming it's just saying I'm not allowed to make a call from inside the continental United States. And I think my license gives me unlimited international calling, but I have no idea why when I call my cell phone, I'm listed as, I don't know, how many zeros did it list me as? Let's see. Which I've never seen that outside the military, so I'm not really sure what got this all fucked up. It's not showing the zeros this time. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the full 10-digit code, and then a plus. That doesn't make any sense. Looks like this. It's gonna make a new contact. did get to access the Google screening service provided with the... Well, I don't know if this is actually provided for the newer phones, but it was a feature of the system on a chip for this one. So I'm not planning on switching off this one anytime soon for sure, because I always seem to get through. And I still don't know if I'm just being blocked by phone number illegally because someone filed a fucking lawsuit or something. Because I definitely have service if I'm able to even connect and then it hang up. That means it accepted the call from a full zeroed number, which means there's live service. I'll just send the feedback to Google again. And like it's calling my call scam likely, flagging it as that, but denoting its number as completely different than like this scam likely, which shows a 504 number, which was I think a local political action committee. Was at 5:40 p.m. Yeah, I think that was the National Fraternal Order of Police calling again. They call fairly infrequently, but to try to solicit for campaign donations from registered Republicans who voted for Trump. And I mean, I know people who were on their executive boards, so like your name just gets on lists. It's not that big of a deal, but most of them have all of their numbers listed with Google as scams, just from people hanging up too frequently or explicitly reporting the number as a scam, even if they signed up to be contacted ahead of time or were just unaware that they knew someone who worked for them or something like that, and when they were verbally authorizing them to contact them through work or something, that was also included. So I just always pick up the phone whenever I see the scam likely thing pop up, just in case. And it's not like it says private number or something dumb that would like obfuscate the dialed in number. Like this shows like the 504 number that they purchased and are using. So that means they probably have a physical office or something and they're calling from that. Somewhere in New Orleans. Just like everyone around here does. Like I got a private number on Friday at 11:26 a.m. I don't know what that was, but like if I hover over that, it doesn't allow me to show it. So like it just says delete. I can delete the record of it contacting me. I can't dial back to that number even from my phone, which kind of pisses me off. And like here's a 771 number. Oh, whoops, I didn't have it highlighted. Have it highlighted now. That's a government number. State says Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. That shows everything. Whereas the private number that's up here shows time, and that's it. I can't press it. Wait, can I press for history? It only shows 2 seconds. Let me see what the transcript says. No, nothing. So it doesn't collect information on it somehow. But if I select the DC number, if I select the DC number, I can add it as a contact. It's also listed as in high definition. Probably calling through a wireless, like call through Wi-Fi. Like if I use my cell phone and I contact someone else and they had this same firmware for their exact same phone, they would also see an HD symbol or maybe an HD plus to indicate that I have a gigabit connection over Wi-Fi calling and unlimited access to I don't remember anymore because I don't know if they changed any protocols, but it used to be global switched communication. So that's irrelevant around where I live because of us having so many access hubs through cellular towers. We're one of the first places that they are allowed to roll out new gigahertz bands in the nation. So due to proximity to a naval NASA facility and our like elevation and being next to the continental shelf, so like they can do things safely and without a need to for ships. So that gives us a lot of different like bands to choose from for the same price, and usually just increments it automatically. So we always have pretty much the best connection in the nation. Out of everywhere else I've been, it's always been better here by the Ookla map and stuff. That's why this bothers me a lot. Because I can't even get a different result from Skype on my phone. Using my phone's higher surety of access, it isn't different from anyone else who purchases the plan or any normal consumer access. Like there's no, this isn't a federal number. This isn't something that was issued to me. It's like my fallback number, my main access to medical care. And in the United States, that's a very big deal. You can't just have a cell phone and nothing else. And it'd be the same thing as disconnecting someone's home number or blocking it through like a judge or something like that. Like I have a cell phone, yeah, I can call someone, possibly. But I can't access emergency services if I'm on the phone and someone breaks in and I'm on the phone. Because I can't access emergency services through Skype. I have a limited emergency service usage on Skype because that's how the protocol works. The phone is the thing that's like the physical handheld one that could be on your person. Is the emergency service access point. That's a big fucking deal. And I can't even tell if I'm receiving inbound communications fit on this part right here. If my mouse is, my mouse isn't showing, but it highlights. And it shows on the Skype window all the numbers, the contact information that I had, which almost every single number I've ever called on Skype, I add to a contact, and I would have a date and time associated, just because it makes it easier for me. Usually I'd have like 5 numbers with dates and times and slightly differing words like at the front of them for the contact, because of like, I made this contact when I first scheduled this appointment with this group of physicians within this hospital system within this context years ago, or this one is the original transit number that I would use before they got bought out and changed their name, merged with a conglomerate, split, did this other thing, but each of them still has to work by, like, I'm pretty sure by law, and they all still do, but I'm not able to access those either. And it seems like now I'm not able to access other random numbers. Like, I was able to access some other numbers, and a few numbers were able to call me, like on last Monday for my appointment with Dr. McLaughlin on the 24th. On the 23rd, on Monday, when I was trying to do this troubleshooting, which is why I'm doing it now on Monday, a week from then. I'm just doing it early in the morning because I know I'm able to contact Microsoft at this hour. This is actually a good time to contact IT typically. And if you call different time zones, you'll still be able to access them. They always have staff, and they'll figure out this is a big enough issue that I'm not going to just kind of go away very quickly. Especially with someone like myself who's on all of their listed registries. I'm not just nobody to Microsoft. I call into them. They see everything immediately. It's very, very easy. It's not like a completely new point of contact. That's not how it works for most Americans, and it's definitely not how it works for a software engineer who's been in their programs before. It ends up kind of escalating things, and if I can't even contact the numbers that I would have contacted before, whenever I had to recover account information and a whole host of other nonsense, that some of which was just kind of circumstantial to my circumstances. It wasn't their fault, but posed significant issues at the time, like threat to life and property kind of deals, and they were fairly excellent with handling it. But these were this is where I recall finding that type of access, and now it's not available at all. That's a huge issue. And I just don't know what has changed with my number, because I had already spoken to the customer support in May. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll show here. No, it only goes back to the 10th, but I was on their customer. I basically was speaking directly to a sales agent, and then like a sales administrative agent for hours, as they had to continue to talk to just me while waiting for a higher level like IT executive to handle like individually cases and give callbacks. And by the time they got around to me, their call didn't connect. There was just a lot going on. Maybe they didn't foresee there would be any issues with people like myself having already had a contract with them. I have it paid out a year, have Skype credit there, so like it's not like there would have been an issue with my account to where I'd have zero balance, like zero balance on the account. It says right there is $18.91. So that's a lot of credit for them to just wind it down. They can change how much they charge a user if they have to stay connected to the user. There's no reason they can't. They can do it at will. They can also reimburse that amount, and they can do it basically with a snap of their fingers. So if it's some sort of technical support, and in order to keep the user's line connected and it not maybe go to a different department or something, it's very simplistic for them. So that's why I sometimes do things like spend another $20 to always have a balance on my account, at the same time as having 2 separate licensed plans with my like Office 365 thing, which is also paid out. It's not like a subscription service, or having any variable rates or anything like that. I pay for the like licensed cards that you can get. I just have it bookmarked or something under Amazon that I knew about through university, and it's a slightly different license than some of the other ones you can get if you're like being required to purchase as a new user. So they're better for my uses. I'm not saying they're better for others, but in mine they're better because it works better with Skype. I know it will provide the specific global license just in case I have physicians contact me, as they frequently do, through their own cell phones, because they, if they're foreigners, their cell phones are secured by the U.S. State Department and their home nation for embassy purposes. Especially because they're physicians, they're usually researchers, and they're researching something with oncology related to me or something of that note. So that's why they would have to use their own instead of dialing out from like a department number, which would be a lower leveled staff. So the physician calls you, it's going to be their owned number, unless they're around my age. Then they'll be calling out from like the hospital's number or like a federal number through the VA associated with them, or their program or like something, and it'll show up as caller ID like Veterans Administration, location, all capitals, whatever, like a number designating something. Even though usually when there's name, phone number, answer call, there's no need to put another number up above. It does that because it knows I can see the number that they're calling from, and that number is just the last number that's in the line, not necessarily the number that's the ID for them, but like in the Fed's numbers always look like that for some reason. And I've gotten that before, and it used to show that here in Skype as like a contact that you could save, until a few weeks ago or so. Now it kind of looks like this: a limited access type of a Skype applet with no contact information, but a caller like a numeral list of calls that have been. I mean, each one of these says outbound. No, wait, here's a couple inbound. Hey, where'd it go? Here, an inbound from this number. Did I just pass one up? Inbound from this number. So I guess I guaranteed I got an inbound on the 10th, and I got an inbound, like the 14th? An inbound on the 16th. 16th and 10th. On the 10th, I got 2 inbounds. Last month, I was getting inbound calls while I was still on the phone with other numbers from handling medical things related to my insurance with Aetna, Better Health of Louisiana, and Medicaid and Medicare and their systems for the Center of Medicaid and Medicare Services. They have my number listed in the federal database as this one and they always usually do call every number that's not the cell phone number first because of the elderly. And they never cycled to my cell phone, probably because I was able to put them on hold or something. But they will. They'll just like sit there for 10-15 minutes until they get to that point, just because that's how it works. Oh, I got an inbound on the 23rd. It doesn't say the time I received the inbound, though, like here. It does say the time I was able to connect to different phone numbers. I'm not sure what that little symbol means. If that's a hold or if that's a hang up. But on Wednesday, this past Wednesday of 25th, that showed up. And the time does show up for this, so maybe that was sent to voicemail or something. But I do not have a receiving voicemail on Skype anymore because it's, when you click these, you can't select things. I mean, it does notice that I am myself. Like, it has, here's my, my initials. Here's my other my registered cell phone number that I was just holding. And it shows I was calling it multiple times. But it only shows the previous time I called it. So if I call it again, it's going to change the 137. And that should refresh on the, this should refresh here shortly. Yeah, there you go. 2:02 a.m. And I dropped that. I could try dialing into my number and see if something changes here, but I think it's just going to switch to the Microsoft Teams interface, even though I'm unable to use a dial pad from Microsoft Teams. Nor does it appear that I can receive SMS to Microsoft Teams, even through the Microsoft Teams app, which I did install on my phone just in case. But the same appearance shows for my phone and the desktop version. There's no dial pad, and there's only the internal connection between Teams users for chat and video calling. And mainly, it doesn't even let me dial directly to video call someone like you would on any other normal, I doubt even voice over IP, but other protocol using like secure socket connections through video, like with Discord, where it's like an internal server shard, or probably any other modern program that does the same thing, because it's cheap. But Skype's always, I pay for Skype. There are multiple separate licenses with Microsoft, not because it's necessarily cheap to run, but because of the fallback support. It's a real phone number for the United States' purpose, and that's necessary to have for someone like myself on Social Security. Can't rely on a location-based home phone with a telephone company because those don't exist anymore. Okay, and now you can't see that Microsoft Teams in the bottom right is appearing to answer the call. And you hear the tone from that. You can also hear it dial on my phone. It's not capturing. Oops, let me mute myself. Okay. There we go. Okay, so cell phone. I can do both here. Okay, so I muted my cell phone, so the audio's not going to come through here. And you can even see the captioning through Skype, which is still available. And the audio sounds acceptable. But this is dialing in. I can't dial out to my cell phone. But I'm able to do this. And on last Monday on the 23rd, about 8:03 or so, 5 a.m. around I received inbound from my doctor's office about my appointment the next day at 0300 and confirmed my appointment with them. It does appear there's some lag between the transcription. I'm only 15 centimeters away from my phone. Maybe 18. Now it's not even registering all the audio. But there's clearly a connection. I'm just not sure why at all. So I'll mute that again. Oh, and it does say HD. I want to make sure to show that. You can see that it's an HD call. So there's no real issues with Wi-Fi calling, because clearly my phone's Wi-Fi calling is allowing for a guaranteed HD call. And not all carriers support that in the United States at all. Just like they limit and will lock the ability to have a hotspot. I have no restrictions on usage of my plan. Roaming, even internationally. It's not possible for me. So this is just a normal internet connection. Well, normal internet connection for those who don't have restrictions in the small amount of states that still have that. But over the air connections with mobile still do in a lot of cases. And you won't have the HD symbol. It'll just be connected as a normal phone call. And my computer is not on Wi-Fi. It's directly connected to the modem and to the router modem combination and wall. It has no wireless capabilities turned on right now. So it's not like just because I'm a few feet away, it's offloading some packets between the phone and it. It's not connected by Bluetooth either. And the connection doesn't seem like it's about to drop. It's just still going. And all the audio is coming through with my, I guess, profile. I have mine set to mute on my phone, but... Oh, is that muting the audio? Can I not mute my... Let's see what holding the call will do. Okay, I'm holding the call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
So I guess it cannot register if the call has been placed on hold, which Skype was able to do that when I could place someone on hold. It would pop up on my end on Skype when I did have the Skype desktop app. That okay. So it would pop up at the top of the Skype banner. Let me just switch this off and see. Okay, so at the top of the Skype where it says United States, right to the left of the gear. I kind of hovered over the gear a bit, so it kind of pushes the Windows UI up slightly up, slightly down, slightly up, slightly down. See the United States, it would appear right there, and it would push down the UI because it was kind of like a web applet that worked probably with HTML or something like that, and that's why the whole thing goes up, and there's a little scroll bar that pops up at the bottom. See, like, no scroll bar, scroll bar. No scroll bar change, no UI change. The window hasn't resized because this is a window itself here, but you cannot resize or drag and drop these elements in the HTML thing. I'm assuming that's what it was written in. I don't know for sure, but if it's something older, then it's something older, whatever. It would have been something predates my knowledge of these things, because that changed over completely by the time I had learned anything with school. And I never have done anything with web, so I could really tell anyone. But I can see that difference between this ongoing call, which is the desktop app, and has nothing that would indicate it's like an in-browser window that could crash on its own or have some sort of overflow issue or anything like that. Like the Skype app was kind of a mix of both. It's what it always appeared to be to me. But it never crashed. And I used Skype for years just to contact other Skype users back when I played League of Legends in like 2011, 2012. When most of the community did use Skype in the United States in my time zone and things to play that game. I have hundreds and hundreds of Skype contacts just from League. I think my Skype profile picture is still Jinx. Even though it's now showing my Microsoft profile, I think. Or is that... I think that's my new Microsoft profile. Yeah, it is. It does register that I am in a call as well. I don't recall Skype doing that, even when I'd make group calls with people. And I never had any issues with Skype crashing. This is the first time I've ever encountered some incapability of connection to others to be initiated by myself, because I'm always the one initiating the connection. And there's no room or channel or server with itself having a like hosted drop in drop out connection protocol, or one that would have like a numeral or like ID number that lists its prior existence as like a call history or inside of a server like Discord, and does not necessarily activate the protocol until the user joins. Like, that's why people keep music bots sitting in channels in Discord for hours at a time playing music or idling. It keeps their channel open for different purposes. Just like me being in a call right now is keeping the call time ticking. And I don't see any looks like normal delay. I'm just not really sure why I'm incapable of dialing out, because that would be no different than blocking me from being capable of joining a channel or hosted server. Like, shit, this would deny me the ability to talk to a judge when ordered to by law, as I have before. You're required to. They hand you paperwork or send you it in the mail for medical reasons. That's usually what the function has been, but it's been for other reasons at times as well. And it's done through phone connection. You have to join. It has to be something associated with yourself. All the times I've done it through Skype. I've recorded it through Skype too, live streamed it with the judge because it had relevancy to me medically, and it was very important to receiving medical care, especially help the judge, because the judge watched it. Judge had contact with me prior to it. I made it pretty clear the function of like why this was necessary. Judge was also pretty pissed off that their time was being wasted dealing with something that had no reason to be brought up to them in the first place. Not on my end, but on like the bloated bureaucratic reasons of screwing with a bunch of patients. It just, like, it had to be heard by the judge, but maybe it was more like the people didn't anticipate the patients would be able to instantly get heard by a judge. I am, because of federal protections. Most people are not. They have no actual right to that process at all. They never will. It's not possible for them. It is for me. That's just how Social Security works. That's how certain status in the United States does. But it works the other way around as well. If I need to be contacted for things medically, or to confirm or something, to just like it would in that case, I have to be able to join something. Like they have the call hosted at a courthouse, and it's basically they pick up a physical receiver and they contact like a switchboard operator, and then you have to call it so that you can be sworn in, so that everybody who's listening has inherently a voice, and everybody can be punished accordingly if they speak out of turn, or just like they would if they were in a physical room. Since I would be the inherent individual needing to be contacted for information or something like that, I can speak freely, regardless. That's why it would be done that way, so that I couldn't be silenced or censored or killed. These phone systems are very important for the legal process in the United States. I definitely have proven it myself. It's just normal everyday usage, and I used fucking Skype. Skype was affordable for someone on Social Security. It worked. with the, I'd say, most critical systems, which would be the judicial systems. As long as it can work with that, with how archaic it is, how crazy it might sound to have old looking phones on walls that you spin the little thing for. I've seen some of those in person. It's they answer the questions that children ask of them because the children have never seen one of these things outside of museums. So it's not weird for the child to walk up and ask. And it's towards like the elderly adults, they might just say, you know what this is, like stop bothering me or something like that. Like it would just be not really acceptable. The small child, it's fine. I did that. I saw other kids do that. It's not weird. So me having this information isn't odd. It would be odd to have been completely oblivious to it. Like, I'd say most foreigners probably know even more than I do about this type of a process, as the United States is very famous for having probably the oldest phone system and oldest way of doing things, if anywhere in the world, because we never had lost access to any of our systems to bring them into the modern era, because we didn't have any wars here in the last 100 years. So that's why. I didn't even consider talking to a judge earlier, but if I can't contact Microsoft support, I can't contact my state's the administrative law judges either are the ones posted here federally. Like, that's now I'm gonna have to contact the congressman. This is completely absurd. And I've tried troubleshooting as much as I can from help docs and things. It's just being connected like this, and we're almost about to hit 20 minutes, which is important. Means that there's completely no issues with the applets on my computer, which I have gone through the advanced settings to reset. Most of them, they aren't running at startup anyway, and I was still receiving calls, as I proved earlier. Like earlier in the month, I just checked before I did all this, like toggled on and off at startup, not at startup, but none of them did start up because I didn't reset my computer or restart it, or my network settings or anything like that. So I held myself from doing that to just initiate the calls in the first place and live stream that, because I thought I might find something else out, and I guess I did. Clearly that I was receiving calls fine earlier in the month, and am still now. And I was also outbound calls fine earlier in the month, and the settings were fine. The applets were the same. I haven't had an update from the applets even last week. It wouldn't have mattered because that updated applet was never starting itself. It never had a service run for itself. There were two versions that were installed that looked like one was Microsoft Corporate and one was Microsoft for Teams. And this version of Teams is the normal Teams, which nothing has changed with it. The corporate one seemed to have updated, but that one never started itself. Likely because that's an internal version that's there for some service process or something that runs in the background. But that one that never started itself. So when I spoke with Microsoft, even on the phone, in May, I'm pretty sure it use the Teams interface with this applet for the first time. So it was past May the 5th, and I think prior to May the 5th, and I believe that was when Skype shut down, technically. And I was supposed to be using this, and they had no dial pad for Skype. But then within like 24 hours, 72 hours or so, because I kept checking, because it was pretty concerning for me. It had the option to click Skype dial pad, and then this web interface for Skype, like shown, was what was available and has been. And it, while no contacts have been on this part to the left with this scroll wheel, I can live with that, I guess. Because it's just like a interface to post calls and get requests or something to then launch this per call for each individual call. And I actually like this interface fine. This is good. This is kind of an improvement. However, I like having my call history and everything with Skype. The call history in Microsoft Teams is abysmal. None of the contacts work. I can't make new chats properly. Nothing works at all. It's completely unusable. However, the actual in-call usage, everything with this is pretty great. So it's like a complementary aspect to Skype's dialing on a physical phone kind of function. That's fine with me. So this isn't me complaining about changes to a piece of software because it was working. This is not working because I'm only speaking because I have my cell phone calling in to my Skype number. My Skype number is 985-520-4713. Has been for years. My cell phone is 985-272-8989. It has been for years, basically, from the same time period or frame. In the very secure methods of accessing a Microsoft account, by having differing numbers registered and making it literally impossible to offload a number from one or the other because it's associated with a Microsoft account, is basically how the United States government keeps everything secure for access protocols with software. At least for that, I know. That's why it was stressed very heavily to have things registered a certain way when I was at LSU. When I first got everything kind of started. And so it's just... they were integrating the Microsoft 365 thing to universities and stuff, and we had already had that set up in Louisiana. Basically. At LSU and other Louisiana universities. I think Southeastern did, as well as a few others. And they were just going one by one. But by the time I graduated high school and entered, they were testing everything out at LSU first because they had the most money at LSU to handle IT things. That's why. And it's just easier to work with the kids who are in software engineering than it is to do with those who, it can't be a function of their education. And this was I haven't changed anything since then. And it's been very secure because of it. It's like the difference between work email. You don't use that as your authentication for you don't register with the bank if it's your main bank for payroll with a work email, unless it's a work account. Because eventually the work is going to change their licensing structure. They're going to lose the email, and you're going to be fucked. And the bank's going to look at you like you're a complete idiot. using the phone number system, you can keep a much more secure tech environment for yourself and not have to really think about it. Because in the United States, everybody basically has to use, even if you have an Apple computer or something, you still have to use Microsoft Office for basically at least something at work. You always will, because the United States government uses it. So because of that, it's still like acting as like a registry of sorts. You don't have to use any of the other features or even pay for anything. It could be just associated with like you as an identity, and then your work is going to know that you can't now add your cell phone number to be your like main contact at work without it like porting through or something, to where like you could call it. I was able to set it up to where you could call my cell phone and it could like use it instantly through voicemail, through Google, to screen the call and then send it here, like through Skype, to then speak through Skype, which would then answer on the Skype app on my phone, just in case like my phone app on my phone was draining my battery too much on my like 6P or something because of some service provider hardware things back then with the battery when I had that. So you'd be launching like an APK applet and it handing off a lot of the processing power for it to like third-party servers or something like that, which would be Microsoft, which would be the United States. Because for some reason, maybe, I don't know, it's a hurricane around here. You might have difficulty with that, but maybe you have great wired connection with internet fiber. But I've never had that issue, had reason to do something like that since, but Skype allowed me to do it. And I still haven't disconnected yet. If I had a third number, I would try to port someone else into this on like a conference call. But I don't think I can set up a conference call without 3 people. I guess I could try to set up a conference call with like Microsoft support and they'll just hear my voice twice and it might be kind of annoying, but that's something. So I'll just minimize that. So let's try this first one. So I'm going to try this one first, which Google's already, which I really like the Google call like phone app thing that I at least have access to with my cell phone for my version license and stuff. It has wait time estimations that are extremely accurate and a bunch of other stuff like that, which are great. And right now it's showing a, basically 0 wait times or like no data on the wait times because there's no activity on that, and you can monitor that. And that's cool. And see, like this is what it looks like before I press the dial to conference them into this call. So I guess let's see what happens. Oh, it went and held my this number. Great. So it says I'm on hold here.
To other countries. To help me best assist you, I need to know if you are calling as a home user or as a business user. I don't think I quite got that.
Gotta organize a conference call.
In order to help you today, please tell me if you are calling as a home user or as a business user.
I am calling as a home user.
Happy to assist. Please tell me what I can help you with today.
Skype.
How can I help you with Skype?
Dial out.
I am sorry that you are
disconnections.
frustrated. I am trying to determine how I can help you. How can I help you with
Disconnections.
Skype? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. How can I help you with Skype?
Disconnection.
I am sorry, it seems I am having a difficult time understanding how I can help. Please visit us online at help.microsoft.com for additional assistance. Sorry that I could not help you today. Thanks for calling Microsoft.
For the record, I merged the call. That's how I was able to get the current call to have that call in. And it did, as shown, display on the transliteration as my cell phone number speaking. Which, actually, if I scroll up, my cell phone's not speaking basically ever. Probably because I go, okay. Yeah, here it is. And it's not showing my profile picture. It says external. It's weird. That's my number associated with this account, because if I hover over this, there's the same number. And it does look like they could hear me. So I guess pressing mute on my phone does actually mute my phone's input audio. So I'll have to dial into this computer with my phone, start this, merge the call with someone else, and then just continue to do that. And I'll see how that, I guess, works this week. It's not a solved issue, but that probably explains some things. I'll just mark it as like a issue as a whole. And I'll try again maybe next Monday. On whether or not I'm going to have to immediately do something with my phone systems after a week of trying to call physicians' offices and things regarding current and ongoing appointments.